Recording, perfect. All right, welcome back everybody to the Mega Park. I don't even know what episode number this is, but welcome back to the Mega Park. So I'm joined by a special guest here, Coaster Rider 120. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yo.
So I passed off this park to Coaster Rider 120. 120. What do you prefer?
Whatever, honestly, I'm fine with whatever you want.
Coaster Rider 1 through 119 was taken, I think, right?
Yeah.
But I passed off the park to him, and he built this wonderful, very big, nice coaster here. There's no time lapse in this episode. There's no time lapse of this build, but I'm just gonna kind of show it off in this episode here. I guess I'll kind of start off by the station over here. I don't have the sound on it in this game at the moment, but this coaster is called Rush, and I know we kind of bounced back and forth between like ideas of what you wanted to do, but you had this very Flux Trance inspired. We were all inspired by Flux Trance, I think, at this point. But yeah, what was your, other than maybe Flux Trance, what was your inspirations? What was your motivation here? Where you just kind of talk about what your process was here.
Yeah, I've always loved the aesthetic of the vertical launch or the launch lift hill pieces that the Twister coasters had.
Yeah.
It's like the two launch hills into a big top hat has always been something I've loved, especially. I've always lived close to King Dakar, if you're familiar.
I am. I've never been on it, but I'm very familiar.
It's that giant top hat has always been something I love, just the aesthetic of.
Mm-hmm.
And when Roller Coaster Tycoon, of course, you couldn't do a flat launch, so I got used to the two hills, so I really wanted to take inspiration from what I used to do a ton with these and kind of bring it into my more modern style. So that was a lot of it. And then tried to go with the Rush theme. Kind of first thing came to mind was just fast. So I tried to make sure a lot of the layout stays low. It's rushing through the trees, kind of, is the whole thought.
And I think Rush is a very good name for like a launch coaster, especially. Because you're just kind of, it makes sense. Have you been on the King Dakar before?
I have.
Nice.
The park's like 2 hours from me, so I've been...
Oh, sick.
I couldn't even tell you how many times at this point, but a lot.
I was gonna say, I haven't been on a coaster that kind of does this element right here. I was in Cedar Point last year, and they were in the middle of constructing Top Thrill 2, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think they recently just finished building it. Like it's good.
Yeah, I think it opened like a week ago.
Yeah, something like that. And it's like, man, I went a year too early.
I know.
And also that red Magnum coaster was also broken down at the time I went.
Really? Damn.
There was like a chain lift hill malfunction or something. I don't know if you heard about that story.
I think I heard something about it.
But this is a very nice layout. Your supports are very nice. I'm sticking with no custom scenery in this park. Very original and nostalgic. And you did it's very well detailed. I never think to do that kind of style there.
Yeah, I was gonna leave it really bland for a while because I was going basically immediately just trying to make it very similar to the Fluxter and stuff because I love the aesthetic of that ride. But it started bothering me because the floating track was just, I couldn't look at it. So I slowly just added little supports and I was like, well, I could add these little accent pieces, and it kind of got out of control. That's the kind of story of this entire ride. It was keep it simple until I got distracted, and now it looks like this.
Yeah, and just like the white and the red is just, it looks very clean. The abstract theme is, I would say, a top 3 theme of mine. That
100%.
I like just, it worked. I mean, if I look at other stuff, like I have it here a little bit, it's very like messy in this area, but abstract there. I throw some cubes over here in this area. It just works well with a lot of different themes too. It's a very good blending tool. You kind of use mostly of like those generic walls and roofs, just a little mix of mix of abstract. And I do like that you used brown supports as well for parts of it. So it's not too, not like just 2 colors throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I got stuck on that for a while actually with the 2 colors because I was just so dead set on the 2 colors and it was bothering me. And I was like, well, I need to add something else because it was just too bland.
See, and I have a habit of doing that too. Like whatever color coaster I make, I feel like I need to make the station the same color. I don't know why, because that, I think more colors. Yeah, I'm trying to think like, I don't know, like I have this purple coaster over here, and I did a purple station. I probably could have done a color that works well with purple. I could probably done red or something like that. But yeah, this is very, very well done, very clean. I love it. I like the use of track texture. I have a very, I've been lacking track texture in this park. The person that had my park a couple times before you kind of incorporated this element here, like the Virginia reel as like a little scenic piece. It just works really well. And man, it just looks the best on this angle too. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that angle. That's been my favorite angle the entire time.
Yeah. Because just looking at it from this angle, it's just, it's still very good, but it's just like, it just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the 2 angles where you can see the sprawled out 2 launches. It's that angle, and when you turn around with seeing it from the other side, it's always been a really cool aesthetic. And I built that once, and I was like, that is final. It is staying. That couldn't change.
Yeah, and I know when you kind of sent me pictures early on, I really liked how that this arc kind of lined up with this blue coaster behind it. I don't know. Like,
wow, I never noticed that.
You didn't notice that? Yeah. I just kind of liked how that lined up too.
Yeah, it looks good.
I don't know. Yeah, I still got to clean up that area back there. And also, I was going to mention your path work is very well done too. I like that you incorporated a little water. I've been lacking a little water. I have a little bit over there, a little bit over here, and I have no water over here on this side of the park. Just a couple little areas, but yeah, having a nice big water feature is very nice with some track texture. This is a really cool track texture piece too. Very simple, but it's cool.
Yeah, it was originally, I was like, oh, that's a nice placeholder. I'll just put that there, and then I kept looking at it, and I was like, it matches so well. It's just simple. It just matches the whole, because I've used, of course, all the just classic and very generic buildings through that. So
and I appreciate they used one piece.
It works. Yeah. I didn't want to use multiple. I realized that's kind of something to conserve.
So did you kind of like build all the way over here then, and then just delete the middle part?
Yep, pretty much. That was. The funny thing is actually the launch tracks on the uphills are also that same track texture because I used the Twister Coaster's launch lift hill for that.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
But of course there's no sprite for it, so I even used the track texture there. I made sure it's all one track.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. And actually at first I thought this was like the launched lift hill piece. I didn't realize it was a chain lift until you pointed it out earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't notice that, but yeah, this is very nice. And then you have a nice little Enterprise over here, Mini Rush. Yeah, very nice. I just love this area a lot. I think it's very nice. It's it brightens up a little bit. I've been using a lot of like Mine theme. It's just very brown.
Yeah, I liked the bright contrast. It worked well.
Yeah, I might try to incorporate this section eventually into blending in with your style and using more of like the white and gray color scheme, just to be a little bit more bright. This is a happy park. And then you got some snacks. Can't go wrong with.
Of course, gotta have the snacks.
Little food court. That's something that I often forget to build is anything along those lines. I bet you right now I need to go to the bathroom. Right there is top 3 thought. And I'm hungry is number 4. But I think most people are in theme parks is
yeah.
But yeah, very, very well done. Yeah, just the gardens and everything is very nice. Just kind of like when I see through scenery, you just have nice gardens. And the trees as well. I often spam trees, just like a very messy. But it seems like you kind of put more care and thought into your tree placement here.
Yeah,
very
I
nice.
usually do spam trees. I do a very similar thing to you. I tried to at least improve a little bit. I try, so I think it's moving up from where it was.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm working on it too. I've gotten a few comments on that. Like, try not to tree spam everywhere. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good, very good. Is there any last minute comments on your coaster before we end this
No.
episode?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's very, very good. And let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Again, very Flux Trance inspired. You might recognize this coaster, this very similar kind of style. Was his coaster called Rush too?
It was.
Yeah, yeah. This is kind of like a throwback kind of thing. I think it's kind of cool. I'm sure if Flux Trance was still active in the RCT community, he would appreciate this kind of this style. But haven't seen him around lately. But yeah, I think it's very nice. So we'll wrap it up here then, and we will see you guys in the next video.